Welcome to the Splendent Vale, a lush valley full of wildlife and a magical substance called materia.
Materia affects everything in the valley. It makes plants grow faster, makes animals fluffier, and it even breathes life into inanimate objects.
The local artisans have mastered weaving materia into their crafts, creating all sorts of unique clothing, weapons, and gizmos.
This is a 2 to 4 player legacy campaign game by Nikki Valens, published by Renegade Game Studios. You take the role of a group of friends, each a different craftsman.
There's Farah, the Zen tailor, Harinia, the feisty apothecary, Javi, the stoic artificer, and Soraya, the hardy mason. Each character has their own character sheet with their unique crafting system, whether it's collecting inspiration stickers for clothing, combining materials into potions, unlocking artifacts on a skill tree, or finding runes to engrave on your equipment.
Each character has their own massive narrative choose-your-own adventure book. In every scenario, you'll be reading numbered entries together as a group and exploring these scenes, which contain spots that you can investigate, like a point-and-click adventure video game. Look closely, because there are some hidden numbers as well as some spots that only your character can find.
At some point in the scenario, you're going to start an encounter. This is a grid-based combat system, taking place on these beautiful, unique maps, each with their own goals and rules. This is where you get to use the equipment you've been crafting, as well as all the different skills you've gotten from leveling up. You roll dice, which adds to your team's shared pool, which allows you to attack, move, defend, or boost an ability to strengthen its effects. When you succeed in the encounter, you go back to the books to continue the story. One of the main parts of Splendent Vale is this crafting system. After all, you're going out on these adventures so you can get more materials for crafting, which you turn into equipment, which helps you handle enemies in more dangerous places, which gets you more materials for crafting, Wait, am I just describing a dungeon crawler?
But this is better than that. You're not just spending gold at a shop or trading resources for gear. You have these mini games specific to your profession that yields unique types of equipment that you can share with the entire party. For example, Harinia the apothecary has this grid of mystery potions similar to your loot box, so you never really know what you're gonna get. And meanwhile, Javi has his crafting integrated with his personal skill tree because he has a prosthetic arm. His crafting is improving himself.
Another nice touch is that everyone's handicraft is shared. For example, Soraya can only make trinkets, whereas Farah can only make clothing. I mean, what are you gonna do with a second helmet? Grow a second head? No, you're gonna give that gear to your friends, so you can't be that selfish even if you want to.
And to make these crafts, you need resources, right? Well, the only resource that can be shared is materia, the magical substance that powers everything in Splendent Vale. All other resources are unique to you. If you're playing as Javi, then you can collect brass and iron, but Harinia needs prickleberry and wormroot. It's just a nice thematic touch. Now on to the exploration scenes in the book. This was excellently done. In one scene, mild spoilers, we were in a dark room and everyone saw darkness. Well, almost everyone, because Soraya is blind, so darkness does not affect her. Her map was lit up like normal.
And there are also numbered entries that are unique to your own character. If there's a small crevice, then Harinia might be able to see something because she's the smallest character. Or there's a window with old curtains that only Farah is interested in because he can harvest cloth. For combat encounters, I think the idea here was to make a streamlined and simple combat system. Your dice pool determines what you can do, and you simply choose from your list of skills. If you have no attack die, then you can't attack. Sorry. The enemy AI is pretty straightforward too. Look at the turn order at the top, roll a dice, and perform their actions one by one. There's no individual health for each mob. You simply lump all the damage together for a category, and if it exceeds their health, you just remove the enemy that you just hit. There are status tokens that have very simple effects, like -1 movement. And there are some terrain like you cannot move here.
So far, pretty standard, especially if you played heavier board games.
Well, just wait. Each meeple has a small number on it. Sometimes the turn order points to a specific enemy. But how can I see this small number when I'm playing on a table with friends? The component list did not include a magnifying glass. You can't even lay them down because mechanically, that means the enemy is stunned.
The map art, while gorgeous, obscures the grid lines. Usually terrain is marked by thicker colored outlines, but it gets hard to keep track. You also start accumulating many skills, trinkets, and potions. And not to mention the wound system that gives you a multi-scenario debuff. It just gets really hard to keep track.
So if you're a hardcore gamer that's played tons of video games and board games before, this might be okay.
But if you started playing this game because of the cute artwork and the adventure, you might run into some trouble during combat.
One last point about the encounter is the inconsistent time. Combats usually happen in the middle of a scenario. So when you've been going through an adventure for an hour or two and you get hit with a 3-hour encounter, you have to leave the combat for the next time.
And it's also very hard to save the game in the middle of an encounter.
And sometimes you have these short 30-minute encounters. It's just a mild annoyance that makes it hard to plan around, especially if you're playing with 4 people.
But look at these meeples, they're so cute. The art on everything from the box art, the maps, the books, the cards, the exploration maps are so well done. This is the perfect cozy feeling I want for my campaigns. I'm so tired of fighting the eldritch horrors and beastly Algox. Let me spend a night just slapping some cute frogs instead.
I also love the stickers in this game. Yes, I know that some people hate legacy games, but I think Splendent Vale does it pretty well. There are so many skills to upgrade and augments to your equipment that it would be annoying to have hundreds of cards to keep track of it all. Not to mention the stickers for your character that let you change your appearance as you put on different equipment.
I didn't like how much writing there was to keep track of our narrative choices. On the back of this map is a giant calendar. As you go through the scenarios, you'll be told to write down specific passages here. And by the end of the campaign, this will be full of the choices that you've made.
I think it was supposed to be a diary of sorts, so you can look back on what happened each day. But I agree, it doesn't work too well because the phrases are really long and you probably won't be reading it anyways.
Well, the only time that it matters in the gameplay perspective is there's just rare moments in the game that they ask you to check a certain passage in this entire calendar, but good luck finding it because there's no really sequence that you should do between these scenarios, and that passage could be in day 9, day 15. It's just very hard. I guess you have to check all of it, and I wish there was a control F for this thing.
I also want to point out that the plastic organizer was something that we bought ourselves. Normally, the game just comes with a bunch of Ziplocs and you just have to shove them into this cardboard box.
But that's probably the only problem we found with organization. The rest of the components has a perfect spot in the default organization box. So most of the game is going to be reading from these books, which, by the way, has almost 1,000 entries each. But don't worry, you're in for a treat because the writing is fantastic. Nikki does a very fantastic job making each character feel unique with their strengths and weaknesses. So it's really easy to get sucked in and feel like Soraya in Splendent Vale.
You also get a good glimpse of each of their lives outside of them crazy adventures too.
Yeah, I really like how the author leaned into the LGBTQ plus character development. It's a really nice inclusion. So if you're looking for a game to play with your friends that's centered around a nice, wholesome story with a strong emphasis on the story, that reminds you of the choose your own adventure games and point and click games that you played in your childhood, this is for you.
You have to be okay with a clunky combat system though.
But you'll get a cozy time crafting things with stickers and exploring this cute world of the Artisans of Splendent Vale.